She never told us it was cancer, not once, not in any Instagram post, not in any interview, not at Dollywood when she spoke to 50,000 fans in March 2026, not in the People magazine interview 4 days before she died, not in the video she recorded herself and posted to show fans she was okay, not in any of the careful and warm and often funny public statements she made about her health over the final year of her life. She never said the word. And on August 25, 2026, when her estate released the statement that the entire world had been dreading without knowing how close it was, the word was in the very first sentence. After bravely facing a brief battle with cancer, Dolly departed her earthly life today at the Vanderbilt-Ingram Cancer Center, surrounded by loved ones. Cancer. That was the word. Not kidney stones, not the health challenges she had described, not being worn down and worn out from grief. Cancer, a brief battle, a battle that nobody outside her innermost circle knew she was fighting, a battle that she kept private with the same discipline and the same grace and the same refusal to make her own suffering the story that she had maintained throughout 67 years of being one of the most public figures in the history of American music. She was 80 years old. She died the day before yesterday, and the world is learning today the truth about what she was carrying the whole time we thought she was just resting. Before we go any further, I need you to subscribe to this channel right now. New stories every single day. Hit subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and stay with me, because what I am about to tell you about the 6 hidden angles in the Dolly Parton story that nobody has assembled into one complete picture will change how you understand every public statement she made in the final year of her life, every video she posted, every interview she gave, every time she told her fans she was going to be fine and that God had not said anything about stopping yet. All of it looks completely different when you know what she was not saying. Let us start at the beginning of the end, September 2025. Fans had been looking forward to Dolly Parton's Las Vegas residency for years. She had not performed a full residency in decades. The announcement of a return to Las Vegas was the kind of news that generated excitement in the specific way that only Dolly Parton can generate excitement, not just among country music fans, among people who had never particularly followed country music, but who understood that Dolly Parton was something more than a genre. She was an American institution, a voice and a face and a presence that belonged to the culture in a way that no label adequately captures. The residency was scheduled for December 2025, and in September 2025, she postponed it. She appeared in a pre-recorded video message at a Dollywood event because she could not attend in person. She told fans she had a kidney stone that was causing her a lot of problems and that it had given her an infection. She asked for a little time to rest. She said she needed a few procedures to address the issue, and she said the words that became one of the most quoted things she said in the final year of her life. "Do not worry about me quitting the business because God has not said anything about stopping yet, but I believe He is telling me to slow down right now so I can be ready for more big adventures with you all."
Slow down right now. More big adventures. She was holding both of those things simultaneously, the reality of what her body was going through, and the refusal to let that reality define the ending of the story. She was insisting that there were more big adventures coming. At 80 years old, with whatever was actually happening in her body that the word kidney stones did not fully describe. Now here is the first hidden angle, and it is the one that makes every health update she gave between September 2025 and August 2026 look completely different. She had cancer. She was being treated for cancer, and the treatment was happening at the Vanderbilt-Ingram Cancer Center in Nashville. That is where she died. That is where her family was gathered around her. That is a world-renowned cancer treatment facility. That is not where you go for kidney stone infections. Vanderbilt-Ingram is one of the top cancer centers in the country. It is where you go when the diagnosis is cancer and when you want the best possible treatment for it. She was being treated there. We do not know for how long. We do not know what kind of cancer it was. The statement from her estate described it only as a brief battle. Brief suggests weeks or a few months rather than years, but brief can also be the word chosen by a family trying to honor their loved one's privacy by not releasing more details than the minimum necessary. The specific type of cancer, the specific timeline of the diagnosis, the specific treatments she underwent, none of that has been made public. What is public is this. She described kidney stone problems and health challenges. She described feeling worn down and worn out, grieving over Carl, and a lot of other little things going on. She said she had let herself get to a place where she needed to build herself back up spiritually, emotionally, and physically. And she said, "All is good. It did not slow me down." It did not slow me down. She said that in March 2026, 5 months before she died, while she was a cancer patient, while she was being treated at Vanderbilt-Ingram. But here's what she also said that March day at Dollywood that became the most prophetic thing she said publicly in the final year of her life. She said she thought Carl Dean was waiting for her. She said if she should show up at the pearly gates with somebody else, he would not like that. He would be saying, "Who is that little pisser? You leave him outside the gates." She said Carl Dean was waiting for her in March 2026, 5 months before she died and went to him. Did she know? Did she have the cancer diagnosis by March 2026? Did she know in that moment, standing at Dollywood with fans around her, that she was talking about something that was closer than anyone in the room understood? We do not know. We cannot know what she knew in March. The estate has confirmed only that the battle was brief, which suggests the cancer may have been diagnosed closer to the end of her life rather than months earlier. But the words she chose that day, the words about Carl rating, land differently now than they landed when she said them. That is the second hidden angle. She told us he was waiting for her, and 5 months later she went to him. The most prophetic thing the Queen of Country Music ever said was said with her trademark humor on an ordinary day at Dollywood, and most of the world treated it as a quip.
Now here is the third hidden angle, the one about the October 2025 video, where she directly addressed fans who thought she was sicker than she was. On October 8, 2025, Dolly Parton posted an Instagram video specifically to address fan concern about her health. She looked directly at the camera. She said, "I know lately everybody thinks I am sicker than I am. Do I look sick to you?" She was telling fans they were worrying too much. She was performing the reassurance that she had always performed for the people who loved her. She was saying, "Look at me. I am still here, and I am still me, and everything is going to be okay." And here's the thing about that video that nobody noted at the time, but that matters enormously now. She did not say she was not sick. She said people thought she was sicker than she was, not that she was fine, not that there was nothing wrong, that the perception was worse than the reality, that whatever the reality was, it was not as bad as what people feared. She was managing the distance between what people feared and what they knew, not by lying, never by lying. Dolly Parton did not lie. She told the truth in the way she chose to tell it, which was always with care for the feelings of the people she was talking to, and always with humor as a protection for herself. She managed the gap between fear and knowledge, not by closing it with full disclosure, but by reassuring people that the fear was larger than the reality without fully describing what the reality was. That October video was the most carefully constructed communication of her entire career, and everyone who watched it felt better. Everyone who watched it exhaled. The fear that had been growing since the September 2025 postponement was soothed. Dolly says she is okay. We believe Dolly, because we have always believed Dolly. She was a cancer patient when she made that video, or she was on the path that was leading to the cancer diagnosis, and she looked at the camera and said, "Do I look sick to you?" And no, she did not look sick. She looked like Dolly. And that was the truth she was offering. The truth of who she was, rather than the truth of what was happening to her body. Now here's the fourth hidden angle, the one about the 4 days before her death, the last interview she gave. On August 21, 2026, People magazine published an interview with Dolly Parton, 4 days before she died. In that interview, she said she had been going through hard times with her health. She said she had not been able to address her health issues properly during the period when Carl was sick. She said once Carl died, she had been able to finally go to the doctors and find out what needed to be taken care of. And she said things were being taken care of.
4 days before she died. Hard times with her health. Things are being taken care of. She was in an interview with People magazine 4 days before she died at the Vanderbilt-Ingram Cancer Center, and she still did not say the word cancer. She was protecting something. Not herself. She was protecting the people who loved her. She understood that saying cancer would change everything about how people experienced whatever time she had left, that it would make every appearance a last appearance, that it would make every word a final word, that it would take the ordinary and beautiful experience of Dolly Parton being alive in the world and turn it into something weighted with finality and grief before the finality arrived. She chose not to do that. She chose to let the people who loved her have a few more ordinary days with her before the statement had to be released. She chose to let them not know what she knew so that they could feel for a little while longer the specific and irreplaceable comfort of believing she was going to be fine. That is the fourth hidden angle. Her silence about the cancer was not a failure of honesty. It was the most loving thing she could do for the people who loved her. She protected them from the knowledge that would have changed everything. She gave them a few more normal days, and then, on August 25th, she departed her earthly life, and the statement told them what she had been carrying. Now, here is the fifth hidden angle, the one about what grief actually does to a human body at 80 years old, and why the story of Dolly Parton's death cannot be fully understood without understanding the story of Carl Dean's death first. Bereavement research, the medical and psychological study of what happens to people after they lose someone they love, has documented something specific about the relationship between grief and physical illness in older adults. The phenomenon is sometimes called broken heart syndrome in its most acute form, but the broader pattern is documented across many studies and many populations. Prolonged grief, particularly after the loss of a long-term partner, suppresses immune function. It disrupts the hormonal systems that regulate the body's ability to fight disease. It produces inflammation markers that are associated with cancer development and progression. Dolly Parton said herself that she got worn down and worn out with grief from her illness. She said she could not take care of herself while she was taking care of him. She said after he died, she finally went to the doctors and they said, "We need to take care of this. We need to take care of that." What did they need to take care of? The cancer. They needed to take care of the cancer. And they tried, and the battle was brief, and on August 25th, it ended.
Carl Dean died March 3rd, 2025. Dolly Parton died August 26th, 2026. 17 months. She outlasted him by 17 months, and in those 17 months, she kept going. She kept showing up. She kept running to Dollywood as she always described it. She kept working on the Broadway musical and the hotel and the museum and the Imagination Library. She kept making Instagram videos and giving interviews and reassuring the people who loved her. She kept going with everything she had until she could not go anymore. Now here is the sixth and final hidden angle, the one about everything she was building as if she knew time was running short. In the final years of her life, Dolly Parton was not slowing down in her ambitions even when her body was asking her to slow down in her performances. She was building, aggressively, on multiple fronts simultaneously. The Dolly Parton Broadway musical, called Dolly, a true original musical, a show about her own life opening in New York in late 2026. She had been working on it for years. She said she had been writing and rewriting and she was putting everything she had into it. A show about her own life, about where she came from and who she was and what she had done. A permanent theatrical record of the Dolly Parton story that would outlast any tour or any album. The Dolly Parton Hotel and Museum in Nashville, another permanent structure, another thing that would exist and welcome visitors and carry her memory forward in a physical and tangible way long after she was gone. The Imagination Library, the book-giving program she founded in 1995, that now gives free books to over 3 million children every month in multiple countries. The program that she described as her most important work, the thing she said she was most proud of, not the songs or the awards or the records sold, the books, the children reading. Legacy projects. That is what all of it was. The musical, the hotel, the museum, the expanded imagination library. She was not building for herself. She was building for the people who would come after her, for the children who would read those books in countries she would never visit, for the audiences who would see that Broadway show and understand where she came from, for the fans who would walk through that hotel and museum and feel connected to something real. She was building the things that survive her, with the specific intentionality of someone who understands that the building needs to be finished because the time is finite. Did she know? Did the cancer diagnosis accelerate the work? Did she sit with the specific knowledge that she was running out of time and pour that knowledge into finishing what she had started? We do not know. But the pace of what she was building in the final period of her life, the simultaneous work on multiple legacy projects while managing a cancer diagnosis that she was keeping private, is the picture of a woman who understood that the time she had was precious and that she was not going to waste a single day of it on something other than what mattered most. She did not slow down. She could not slow down, not because she was afraid of stopping, but because she had too much to finish, and she knew it. Dolly Parton was born on January 19, 1946, in a one-room cabin on the banks of the Little Pigeon River in Sevier County, Tennessee. She was the fourth of 12 children. Her family was so poor that the doctor who delivered her came to collect his fee. Her father had nothing to offer him but a bag of oatmeal. The doctor took the oatmeal. She sang in church before she sang anywhere else. She wrote songs before she recorded them. She moved to Nashville the day after she graduated from high school in 1964. She was 18 years old. She arrived with a cardboard suitcase and a guitar, and the specific kind of ambition that only comes from growing up with nothing and knowing that talent is the only currency you have. She built everything: the voice, the songs, the persona, the wigs and the rhinestones, and the specific humor that she used as both a weapon and a shield. She understood very early that the way to be taken seriously in an industry that was not built to take women from the mountains of Tennessee seriously was to be so completely and unmistakably herself that the industry had no choice but to make room for her.
I Will Always Love You, Jolene, Coat of Many Colors, 9 to 5, Islands in the Stream, Traveling Through. These are not just songs. They are chapters in the American story. They are the soundtrack to specific moments in specific people's lives across 7 decades. They played at weddings and funerals and celebrations and heartbreaks, and the ordinary Tuesday afternoons when someone needed to hear something that understood what they were going through. She wrote over 3,000 songs. She sold over 100 million records. She won 9 Grammys. She was inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame. She received the Presidential Medal of Freedom. She was offered a statue in her home state of Tennessee and turned it down because she said she was just a person and did not feel right accepting a statue while she was still alive. That last detail tells you who she was. She was the most decorated and most beloved country music artist in history. And when they offered her a statue, she said no thank you, because she did not need the statue. She had the songs, and the songs were the only monument that mattered. Dolly Parton is gone. She died yesterday at the Vanderbilt-Ingram Cancer Center with her loved ones around her, after a brief battle with cancer that she kept private until the end. Carl Dean, the man she loved for nearly 60 years, the man she said was waiting for her at the pearly dates, has been gone for 17 months. They are together now. If she was right about Carl waiting, and she was right about so many things, then she is with him. And the music she left behind is with all of us. Every song, every lyric, every story. Every child reading a free book from the imagination library. Every person who heard Coat of Many Colors and felt seen for the first time. Every couple who danced to I Will Always Love You. Every working woman who heard 9 to 5 and felt understood. She built a monument bigger than any statue. She built it with her voice and her talent and her determination and her love. And it will be here, long after all of us are gone. This channel is here for every story like hers, the ones that deserve to be told in full, with nothing softened and nothing left out. Subscribe right now, turn on the notification bell, and tell me in the comments what Dolly Parton meant to you. Which song is yours? Which moment made you feel seen or understood or less alone? Drop it below. I read every single comment. Everyone. And I will see you tomorrow.